Hello, and welcome to another episode of Jolson Roderick Wallace Anatomy and Physiology Dissection. Today, we will be dissecting a sheep brain. First, we are going to start by looking at surface anatomy. Over here, we have the frontal lobe, which is responsible for executive decisions and motivation.
Here is the parietal lobe. Its functions are language processing, math, and visual spatial construction.
The temporal lobe processes language, short-term memory, and is also a part of the limbic system.
This is the occipital lobe, and it processes vision.
This is the cerebellum, and it helps with coordination and balance.
From here to here is the brainstem. Within the brainstem is the pons and the medulla.
Over here we have the olfactory bulb, which processes smell. Over here we have the optic nerve, which takes the image from the eyes into the occipital lobe. Here's the corpus callosum, which connects the left and right hemispheres. Now we are going to cut through the corpus callosum. From here we are going to cut through the middle of the frontal lobe. So right in here we have the lateral ventricle, which holds spinal fluid throughout the brain. So now we're going to cut through the temporal lobe to get through to the lateral ventricle. So here we have the tip of the lateral ventricle in the temporal lobe, which goes through the brain and comes back around to the lateral ventricle in the frontal lobe. The limbic system starts at the amygdala and runs alongside the lateral ventricle. The amygdala lays deep to the tip of the lateral ventricle, and the amygdala's function is emotion, mostly anger and fear. Over here we have the pituitary stalk, which goes to the pituitary gland, and the function of the pituitary gland is to release hormones to the body. Now we are going to complete the cut through the corpus callosum to get a midline view of the brain.
This right here is the lateral ventricle that holds the spinal fluid. This right here is the pineal gland that deals with the circadian rhythm and sleep.
Now we're going to split the brain to get to the thalamus.
And its function is the sensory station of the brain.
So now we're going to cut in between here to see the other side of the thalamus.
So right here is the thalamus, and the hypothalamus lies right under the thalamus, and the function of the hypothalamus that it deals with biological drives like sleep and hunger.
Now we're going to finish this cut right here so we can cut off the brainstem. We're looking at right here is a cut through the midbrain of the brainstem. Inside the brainstem we have this canal for spinal fluid to flow into the ventricles. So now we're going to cut on both sides to remove the cerebellum from the brainstem. Now we're looking at the floor of the fourth ventricle, which also carries spinal fluid. So here we have the pons, which we're about to cut through. And the pons is kind of like a four-way intersection in that it's a crossway for multiple parts of the brain. By cutting through the pons, you're going to reach the reticular formation.
So these dark semicircles is the substantia nigra that degenerates when people have Parkinson's disease.
So here we have the medulla again, which deals with the autonomic functions of the body like heart rate and breathing. Until next time, I'm Dr. Jolson.
And I'm Dr. Roderick.
Today, we will be Wallace Dyson. Oh my god. Oh, brought to you
Wallace.
by Wallace Internet. Paid in part by Wallace Corporation. Okay.
Now this is the thalamus from the other side.
He said thalamus.
Okay, good.
Here's the thalamus one.
Very stock. Right.
Except that was the optic chiasm, but it's okay.
Up top is the thalamus once again.
Once again. Up top, here it is once again. Up top.
Okay, so over here is our friend the thalamus. Over here we have the thalamus.
Thalamus.
Over here is the thalamus yet again.
Man.
You're a good one.
I can't.
Can I get some water?
I'm Dr. Rock.
Oh, God. You suck, man. You suck.
I don't think I can pronounce that. Thalamus. Thalamus, okay.